Think about how much time you actually spend inside a browser. For most of us, it's 90% of our digital life. We've always treated it like a window, just a transparent pane of glass we look through to see the rest of the world. But in 2026, that glass has turned into a two-way mirror. The browser isn't a passive tool anymore. It's an active participant in your psychology. It isn't just fetching websites for you. It's harvesting micro behaviors that you don't even know you're making. Let's talk about something called dwell time. When you hover your mouse over a headline but you don't actually click it, your browser notes the hesitation. It records your scroll depth, how far down a page you go before you lose interest and move on. In the 2026 builds of the major engines, this kind of contextual telemetry is being turned into a real-time emotional map. They aren't just tracking where you go, they're tracking how you feel while you're there. This is the era of in-tab surveillance. Every tiny movement of your mouse, every millisecond of a pause, it's all just a data point being fed into a predicted model. By the time you've finished reading a single news article, the software has already calculated your political lean, your current stress level, and the exact type of advertisement that's most likely to break your resistance. You aren't just browsing the web is browsing your subconscious. And it's deeper than just ads. This data is being used to train the very AI agents that are supposed to help us. They're learning how you think, they're learning how you react to stress or how you process information. Every time you open a new tab, you're essentially giving a tech giant front row seat to your thought process. It's the ultimate feedback loop, and it's happening inside the one app we all trust the most. The scary part is that we've been reconditioned to accept it. We see a little loading spinner or a personalized recommendation, and we think the browser is working for us. But under the hood, the engine is working for the advertiser. It's a conflict of interest that's baked into the very code of the internet. If the software is free, then the most valuable thing in that window isn't the website. It's the person sitting in front of the screen. In 2026, privacy isn't just about hiding your history. It's about protecting your focus. It's about making sure your own hardware isn't being used as a psychological profiling tool against you. But as the engines get more intelligent, the line between a helpful feature and a digital stalker is getting thinner every single day. We're living in a glass house, and the curtains have been removed by the people who built the walls. The trap was set years ago, but in 2026, the door's finally locked. It's called Manifest v3. Under the guise of performance and security, the core architecture of Chrome and Edge has been rewritten to cripple the very tools we use to protect ourselves. This is the death of the request filter. In the old world, what we call Manifest v2, your ad blocker sat at the gate. It saw a tracking request and simply said no. It was a hard wall. It was a line in the sand that the advertisers couldn't cross. But under Manifest v3, that wall has been replaced by a suggestion box. Extensions aren't allowed to block requests on their own anymore. Instead, they've got to provide a list of rules to the browser, and the browser decides whether it actually wants to follow them. It's a transition from a blocking model to a declarative model. The industry tells you this makes your browser faster. What they don't tell you is that it makes their own telemetry unkillable. It's an enclosure, plain and simple. Think of it like this. Your ad blocker used to be a security guard with a shotgun. Now it's a clerk with a clipboard asking the warden for permission to close the cell door. And the warden is the one selling your data to the highest bidder. In 2026, if you're using a Chromium-based browser, you're running a system where the trackers are the architects, and your privacy tools are just guests that can be kicked out at any moment. This lockdown isn't just about annoying ads. It's about who actually controls the code on your machine. By limiting the number of rules an extension can run, the giants have ensured that their first-party trackers, the ones built right into the engine, remain visible and untouchable. You can't filter out what the browser refuses to show you. It's a hardware-level restriction applied to software freedom, and most users haven't even noticed the bars being installed. We've seen reports from the independent audits. Even those popular privacy extensions are struggling to keep up with these new limits. They're being forced to prioritize which trackers to block, leaving thousands of smaller, more insidious scripts to run in the background. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Your digital footprint is being harvested in fragments, and the tools you trust are being silenced by the very platform they're supposed to protect. And let's talk about the security lie. They claim Manifest v3 protects you from malicious extensions, but it also strips away the power of the community to audit what's happening under the hood. When you take away the ability to intercept requests, you take away the ability to see where your data is going. It's a black box. You're being told to trust a giant that's currently picking your pockets. It's a classic case of a solution creating a much bigger, more profitable problem. By the time we reach the end of 2026, this transition will be complete. The free, old web, the one where you had a say in what code ran on your machine, will be just a memory. We're moving into a managed environment where your browser isn't a tool for exploration, but a terminal for consumption. If you don't own the engine, you don't own the journey, and right now, someone else is firmly in the driving seat. But the final stage of the trap is the most intimate. It's the AI sidekick, whether it's Copilot in the sidebar or Gemini integrated into your search bar. Your browser is now compact harvesting every active tab. This is what the industry calls agentic intelligence. And for it to work, it requires total transparency. It needs to read your private emails to help you write a reply. It needs to analyze your bank statements to help you budget. It's always watching, always helping. But where does all that context actually go? A forensic leaks from the 2026 hardware software audits have revealed a horrifying reality. Something called context compaction. Your browser is creating a local vector database of everything you type, and that includes the things you delete. If you type a sensitive, angry email and delete it before hitting send, that data has often already been indexed. The AI has already summarized your intent and stored it in the local cache. This isn't just a privacy leak, it's a breach of the air gap between your brain and the digital world. In the past, the unsent fault was private. In 2026, if you type it into a browser tab, it belongs to the model. We're entering an era where your browser is a witness for the prosecution, a permanent recorder of your indecision, your drafts, and your private negotiations. The warden doesn't just watch the cage. He demands to read your diary while you're still writing it. Why is this happening now? Because in the AI era, user intent is the new gold. The browser companies aren't just selling your history anymore. They're selling your cognitive patterns. They're mapping how you make decisions. Every time you hesitate on a form or rewrite a sentence, the AI is learning the texture of your personality. It's building a digital twin of you, stored in a cloud you'll never see and can never truly delete. And for the people who think they're safe because they use incognito mode, think again. In 2026, AI layer often sits above the privacy settings. It's an overlay service. Even if your history isn't being saved to your account, the local MPU, which we talked about in the last video, is still processing the context of your session to optimize the model. And that pretty much means that the window's closed, but the house is still made of glass. So is there a way out? Yes, but it requires moving from being a consumer to becoming an architect. The exit isn't setting a toggle. You can't opt out of an engine that was literally designed for extraction. The only real solution is to change the architecture. We're seeing the rise of the hardened browser movement. Tools like LibreWolf, which strips every single line of telemetry from the core, or Mulvad browser, designed from the ground up to stop the digital fingerprinting that makes modern tracking possible. And for those who want total independence, there is Ladybird, a brand new browser engine built from scratch, totally free from the corporate influence of the Chromium monopoly. The goal is simple: a return to the user agent, a browser that works for you, the person, rather than the advertiser. The era of the cloud-first trap is ending for those who know where the exits are. My name's the architect. Privacy is a right, not a subscription feature. Reclaim your gateway. Subscribe to Tech Time Talk. We're moving outside the box together.